Yeah. Yeah, some of them are kind of good. Okay. Little garden. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, I didn't offer next time. Should have one. And maybe the devotees will come. I hope.
We have the great winter depression when less devotees.
This is not depression, this is the best. No, this is like preparing for something big.
Do you play Brian?
I haven't learned. We have to learn. Ideally, yes, it would be nice. Do you have cards? No, I don't like it. Oh. But maybe you can see better than me. Because I'm not a great preparatory either.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari All glories to the Son, devotees. All glories to the Son, devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtike. We are continuing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8, Text 23. I will read the Sanskrit myself, it's in prose. Kimva are acharitam tapasvinyanaya yat yam avanihi savinaya Krishna sara tanaya tanutara subhaga shivatamakara kura pada paktibhir dravina vidura turasya kripanasya mama dravina padaving suchayantyatmanam cha sarvataha krita kautakam dvijanam svargopavarga kamanam devayojanam karoti. Word for word. Kimva, what? Are, oh. Acharitam, practice. Tapaha, penance. Tapasvinya, by the most fortunate. Anaya, this planet Earth. Yat, since. Yam, this. Avanihi, Earth. Savinaya, very mild and well behaved. Krishna Saratanaya, of the calf of the black deer. Tanutara, small. Subhaga, beautiful. Shivatama, most auspicious. Akara, soft. Kura, of the hooves. Padapanktibihi, by the series of the marks. Dravina vidhura aturasya, who is very aggrieved because of loss of wealth. Kripanasya, a most unhappy creature. Mama, for me. Dravina Padavim, the way to achieve that wealth. Suchayanti, indicating. Atmanam, her own personal body. Cha, and. Sarvataha, on all sides. Krita Kautukam, ornamented. Dvijanam, of the Brahmanas. Svarga Pavarga Kamanam, who are desirous of achieving heavenly planets or liberation. Devayajanam, a place of sacrifice to the demigods. Karoti, it makes. Translation of Srila Prabhupada. After speaking like a madman in this way, Maharaj Bharat got up and went outside. Seeing the footprints of the deer on the ground, he praised the footprints out of love, saying, "O unfortunate Bharat, your austerities and penances are very insignificant compared to the penance and austerity undergone by this earth planet. Due to the earth's severe penances, the footprints of this deer, which are small, beautiful, most auspicious and soft, are imprinted on the surface of this fortunate planet. This series of footprints show a person like me who am bereaved due to loss of the deer, how the animal has passed through the forest and how I can regain my lost wealth. By these footprints, this land has become a proper place for brahmanas who desire heavenly planets or liberation, to execute sacrifices to the demigods." Purport. It is said that when a person becomes overly involved in loving affairs, he forgets himself as well as others, and he forgets how to act and how to speak. It is said that once when a man's son was blind since birth, the father, out of staunch affection for the child, named him Padmalochan, or lotus-eyed. This is the situation arising from blind love. Bharat Maharaj gradually fell into this condition due to his material love for the deer. It is said in the Smriti Shastra, "Yasmin deshe mriga krishnas, tasmin dharman ivodhata." That tract of land wherein the footprints of a black deer can be seen is to be understood as a suitable place to execute religious rituals. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavani Pashatade Shabhavini. After speaking like a madman in this way, Maharaj Bharat got up and went outside. Seeing the footprints of the deer on the ground, he praised the footprints out of love, saying, O unfortunate Bharat, your austerities and penances are very insignificant compared to the penance and austerity undergone by this earth planet. Due to the earth's severe penances, the footprints of this deer, which are small, beautiful, most auspicious and soft, are imprinted on the surface of this fortunate planet. This series of footprints show a person like me, who am bereaved due to loss of the deer, how the animal has passed through the forest, and how I can regain my lost wealth. By these footprints, this land has become a proper place for brahmanas who desire heavenly planets or liberation to execute sacrifices to the demigods. Hare Krishna. So we can continue here with Maharaj Bharat, how he's obviously overcome by heavy emotions of separation to the deer, and yet we almost have to laugh. But in a way it's not funny.
Yeah.
In a way it's not funny. And this is the picture of the conditioned living entity who has invested so much affection and hope, love into a material entity, meaning in this case a deer. And of course that's a very unusual situation. We don't see that actually in the world, but we can see it, how humans, they attach to each other in the same way, and they go through heavy emotional turbulences when they lose someone they love. Love meaning love in the material sense, not in the yes. So yes, Srila Prabhupada, he just gives another example in the purport of this father who calls his son Padmalochan, even though he's blind. And I heard this before, this example of Prabhupada, where material affection can really make one blind and crazy in a way. That I can speak things which don't make sense, but to me they make sense because I'm so overwhelmed by emotions. And I thought we can just read a bit from Srimad Bhagavatam. And if I hear this verse, it reminds me of, what does it remind you? This
This verse.
yeah, something in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Something similar.
No, it doesn't.
Puranjana.
Puranjana. We know how the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, and in that sense, everything that can be seen in the material sphere can be seen in the spiritual. And it reminds me of the Gopis, how they look for Krishna. No, they also. Huh?
This is a higher level.
It's the purest level,
Yes,
yeah. It's the opposite level. And maybe we can read a little bit from 10th canto. If you like, you can read along. It's the 10th canto, 30th chapter. Shukadev Goswami said, so this is Krishna met the Gopis in Vrindavan, in the forest at night, and then he left. When Lord Krishna disappeared so suddenly, the Gopis felt great sorrow at losing sight of him, like a group of female elephants who have lost their mate. As the coward women remembered Lord Krishna, their hearts were overwhelmed by his movements and loving smiles, his playful glances and enchanting talks, and by the many other pastimes he would enjoy with them. Thus absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, the Lord of Rama, the Gopis began acting out his various transcendental pastimes. Because the beloved Gopis were absorbed in thoughts of their beloved Krishna, their bodies imitated his way of moving and smiling, his way of beholding them, his speech, and his other distinctive features. Deeply immersed in thinking of him, and maddened by remembering his pastimes, they declared to one another, I am Krishna. Singing loudly of Krishna, they searched for him throughout the Vrindavan forest like a band of mad women. They even asked the trees about him, who, as the super soul, is present inside and outside of all created things, just like the sky. The Gopi said, O Ashwatthari, O Plaksha, O Nyagrodha, have you seen Krishna? That son of Nanda Maharaj has gone away after stealing our minds with his loving smiles and glances. O Kuravakatri, O Ashoka, O Naga, Punaga, and Champaka, has Balaram's younger brother, whose smile removes the audacity of all proud women, passed this way? O most kind Tulasi, to whom the feet of Govinda are so dear, have you seen that infallible one walk by, wearing you and encircled by swarms of bees? O Malati, O Malika, O Jati, and Jutika, has Madhava gone by here, giving you pleasure with the touch of his hand? O Chuta, O Priyala, O Panasa, Asana, and Kovidara, O Jambu, O Arka, O Bilva, Bakula, and Amra, O Kadamba, and Nipa, and all you other plants and trees living by the banks of the Jamuna, who have dedicated your very existence to the welfare of others. We Gopis have lost our minds, so please tell us where Krishna has gone. O Mother Earth, what austerity did you perform to attain the touch of Lord Keshava's lotus feet? Similar verse now. Which has brought you such great joy that your bodily hairs are standing on end? You appear very beautiful in this condition. Was it during the Lord's current appearance that you acquired this ecstatic symptom, or was it perhaps much earlier, when he stepped upon you in his form of the dwarf Vamanadev, or even earlier, when he embraced you in his form of the boar Varahadev? O friend, wife of the deer, has Lord Achyuta been here with his beloved, bringing great joy to your eyes? Indeed, blowing this way is the fragrance of his garland of kunda flowers, which was smeared with the kukuma from the breasts of his girlfriend when he embraced her. O trees, we see that you are bowing down when the younger brother of Rama walked by here, followed by intoxicated bees swarming around Tulasi Manjaris, decorating his garland. Did he acknowledge your obeisances with his affectionate glances? He must have been resting his arm on the shoulder of his beloved and carrying a lotus flower in his free hand. Let us ask these creepers about Krishna. Even though they are embracing the arms of their husband, this tree They certainly must have been touched by Krishna's fingernails, since out of joy they are manifesting eruptions on their skin. Having spoken these words, the Gopis, distraught from searching for Krishna, began to act out his various pastimes, fully absorbed in thoughts of him. One Gopi imitated Putana, while another acted like infant Krishna and pretended to suck her breast. Another Gopi, crying in imitation of infant Krishna, kicked the Gopi who was taking the role of the cart demon Shakatasura. One Gopi took the role of Trinavarta and carried away another who was acting like infant Krishna, while yet another Gopi crawled about, her ankle bells tinkling as she pulled her feet. Two Gopis acted like Rama and Krishna in the midst of several others who took the role of cowboys. One Gopi enacted Krishna's killing of the demon Vatsasura, represented by another Gopi, and a pair of Gopis acted out the killing of Bakasura. When one Gopi perfectly imitated how Krishna would call the cows who had wandered far away, how he would play his flute, and how he would engage in various sports, the others congratulated her with exclamations of "Well done, well done." Another Gopi, her mind fixed on Krishna, walked about with her arm resting on the shoulder of a friend and declared, "I am Krishna, just see how gracefully I move." "Don't be afraid of the wind and rain," said one Gopi. "I will save you." And with that she lifted her shawl above her head. Meaning here, in purport, here a Gopi enacts Lord Krishna's pastime of lifting Govardhan hill. Shukadev Goswami continued, "O king, one Gopi climbed on another's shoulder and, putting her foot on the other's head, said, 'Go away from here, O wicked snake. You should know that I have taken birth in this world just to punish the envious.' Then another Gopi spoke up, 'My dear cowboys, look at this raging forest fire. Quickly close your eyes and I will easily protect you.' One Gopi tied up her slender companion with a flower garland and said, 'Now I will bind this boy who has broken the butter pots and stolen the butter.' The second Gopi then covered her face and beautiful eyes, pretending to be afraid. While the Gopis were thus imitating Krishna's pastimes and asking Vrindavan's creepers and trees where Krishna, the Supreme Soul, might be, they happened to see his footprints in a corner of the forest. The Gopis said, 'The marks of a flag, lotus, thunderbolt, elephant gold, barleycorn, and so forth on these footprints clearly distinguish them as belonging to that great soul, the son of Nanda Maharaj.' The Gopis began following Krishna's path, as shown by his many footprints. But when they saw that these footprints were thoroughly intermixed with those of his dearmost consort, they became perturbed and spoke as follows. The Gopis said, 'Here we see the footprints of some Gopi, who must have been walking along with the son of Nanda Maharaj. He must have put his arm on her shoulder, just as an elephant rests his trunk on the shoulder of an accompanying she-elephant. Certainly this particular Gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. O girls, the dust of Govinda's lotus feet is so sacred that even Brahma, Shiva, and the goddess Rama take that dust up on their heads to dispel sinful reactions. These footprints of that special Gopi greatly disturb us. Of all the Gopis, she alone was taken away to a secluded place, where she is enjoying the lips of Krishna. Look, we can't see her footprints over here. It's obvious that the grass and sprouts were hurting the tender soles of her feet, and so the lover lifted up his beloved. Please observe, my dear Gopis, how in this place lusty Krishna's footprints are pressed more deeply into the ground. Carrying the weight of his beloved must have been difficult for him, and over here that intelligent boy must have put her down to gather some flowers. Just see how in this place dear Krishna collected flowers for his beloved. Here he has left the impression of only the front part of his feet, because he was standing on his toes to reach the flowers. Certainly Krishna sat down here with his girlfriend to arrange her hair. The lusty boy must have made a crown for that lusty girl out of the flowers he had collected. Shukadev Goswami continued, Lord Krishna enjoyed with that Gopi, although he enjoys only within, being self-satisfied and complete in himself. Thus, by contrast, he showed the wretchedness of ordinary lusty men and hard-hearted women. As the Gopis wandered about, their minds completely bewildered, they pointed out various signs of Krishna's pastimes. The particular Gopi whom Krishna had led into a secluded forest when he had abandoned all other young girls began to think herself the best of women. My beloved has rejected all the other Gopis, she thought. Even though they are driven by Cupid himself, he has chosen to reciprocate with me alone. As the two lovers passed through one part of the Vrindavan forest, the special Gopi began feeling proud of herself. She told Lord Keshava, I cannot walk any further. Please carry me wherever you want to go. Thus addressed, Lord Krishna replied, just climb on my shoulder. But as soon as he said this, he disappeared. His beloved consort then immediately felt great remorse. She cried out, O Master, my lover, O dearmost, where are you? Where are you? Please, O Almighty armed one, O friend, show yourself to me, your poor servant. Maybe I can read the Sanskrit, it's a very beautiful verse. Ha nata ramana prishta, kvasi kvasi mahabhuja, dasyaste kripanaya me sakkid ashayat sannidhim. Shukadev Goswami said, while continuing to search out Krishna's path, the Gopis discovered their unhappy friend close by. She was bewildered by separation from her lover. She told them how Madhava had given her much respect, but how she then suffered dishonor because of her misbehavior. The Gopis were extremely amazed to hear this. In search of Krishna, the Gopis then entered the depths of the forest as far as the light of the moon shone. But when they found themselves engulfed in the darkness, they decided to turn back. Their minds absorbed in thoughts of him, they conversed about him, acted out his pastimes, and felt themselves filled with his presence. They completely forgot about their homes as they loudly sang the glories of Krishna's transcendental pastimes. The Gopis again came to the bank of the Kalindi, meditating on Krishna and eagerly hoping he would come. They sat down together to sing of him. And now the Gopi Gita comes, where the Gopis pray. You have it with you? We can sing it.
Which verse?
10:31. Maybe I sing it, then you can repeat. Jayati te dikam janmana praja srayata indira shashvadatrahi Jayati te dikam janmana praja Shrayata Indira Shashvadatrahi Daita Drishyata Dikshutavaka Vaidrita Savas Tvam Vichinvate Daita Drishyata Dikshutavaka Dvaidrita Savas Tvam Vichinvate. Now we change the tune. Maybe I sing this tune, it's easier now. The translation, the Gopis said, O beloved, your birth in the land of Raj has made it exceedingly glorious, and thus Indira, the goddess of fortune, always resides here. It is only for your sake that we, your devoted servants, maintain our lives. We have been searching everywhere for you, so please show yourself to us. Sharadudashaye sadhujatasa sarasitodara srimushadrisha Sharadudashaye sadhujatasa Sarasijodara Srimushadrisha Suratanatate Shulkadasika Bharatanighnato Mehakim Padha
Suratanate Shukadasika Varadaninato Nehakimbada.
O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the world of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maidservants who have given themselves to you freely, without any price. Isn't this murder? Vishachalapyayat vyalarakshasha Varshamaruta Vaidyutanala Vishachalapyayat vyalarakshasa Varshamaruta Vaidyutanala Vrishamayatmaja Vishvatobhaya Rishabhate Vayam Rakshitamuhu
Vrishamayatmaja Vishvatobhaya Rishabhate Vayam Rakshitamuhu.
O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kinds of danger, from poisoned water, from the terrible man-eater Agha, from the great rains, from the wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, from the bull demon, and from the son of Maya Danava. Nakalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehina Antaratmatri
Nakalagopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehinam Antaratmadri
Vikana Sartito Vishwaguptaye Sakaudeya Ivan Sattvatam Kule
Vikana Sathito Vishwaguptaye Sakaudevan Sattvatam Kule.
You are not actually the son of the Gopi Jashoda, O friend, but rather the indwelling witness in the hearts of all embodied souls. Because Lord Brahma prayed for you to come and protect the universe, you have now appeared in the Satvata dynasty. Maybe I'll just read the remaining translations so we can read all of it. O best of the Brishnis, your lotus-like hand, which holds the hand of the goddess of fortune, grants fearlessness to those who approach your feet out of fear of material existence. O lover, please place that wish-fulfilling lotus hand on our heads. O you who destroy the suffering of Braja's people, O hero of all women, your smile shatters the false pride of your devotees. Please, dear friend, accept us as your maidservants and show us your beautiful lotus face. Your lotus feet destroy the past sins of all embodied souls who surrender to them. Those feet follow after the cows in the pastures and are the eternal abode of the goddess of fortune. Since you once put those feet on the hoods of the great serpent Kalia, please place them upon our breasts and tear away the lust in our hearts. O lotus-eyed one, your sweet voice and charming words, which attract the minds of the intelligent, are bewildering us more and more. Our dear hero, please revive your maidservants with the nectar of your lips. And now the famous verse. Tavakatamritam tapta jivana kaviviriditam kalmashatvavam Shravanamangalam Srimadattatam Bhuvi Grinanti Yehurita Jana. The nectar of your words and the descriptions of your activities are the life and soul of those suffering in this material world. These narrations, transmitted by learned sages, eradicate one's sinful reactions and bestow good fortune upon whoever hears them. These narrations are broadcast all over the world and are filled with spiritual power. Certainly those who spread the message of Godhead are most beneficent. Your smiles, your sweet, loving glances, the intimate pastimes and confidential talks we enjoyed with you, all these are auspicious to meditate upon, and they touch our hearts. But at the same time, O deceiver, they very much agitate our minds. Dear master, dear lover, when you leave the cowherd village to herd the cows, our minds are disturbed with the thought that your feet, more beautiful than a lotus, will be pricked by the spiked husks of grain and the rough grass and plants. This just reminds me, I did this Braj Mandal Parikrama And I really got a understanding how painful it is if you stand into this husks of grain. Actually on the last day, I think it was, I had to, there was the class going on and I had to go to the toilet, so I went to some field, and then I all of a sudden, I stepped down in one place and it hurt so much, and I thought, okay, let me quickly jump forward, but the whole field was full of that, and it was so painful. Really, I still, now when I remember it, the pain in my feet was unbearable, and it took me a long time to take these things out of my souls after. I think we don't have experience of this anymore in today's world because we grow up so artificially. So it's in a way nice, even though it's painful, it gives us some understanding of what they're actually talking about here. At the end of the day, you repeatedly show us your lotus face, covered with dark blue locks of hair and thickly powdered with dust. Thus, O hero, you arouse lusty desires in our minds. Your lotus feet, which are worshipped by Lord Brahma, fulfill the desires of all who bow down to them. They are the ornament of the earth. They give the highest satisfaction, and in times of danger, they are the appropriate object of meditation. O lover, O destroyer of anxiety, please put those lotus feet upon our breasts. O hero, kindly distribute to us the nectar of your lips, which enhances conjugal pleasure and vanquishes grief. That nectar is thoroughly relished by your vibrating flute and makes people forget any other attachment. When you go off to the forest during the day, a tiny fraction of a second becomes like a millennium for us because we cannot see you. And even when we can eagerly look upon your beautiful face, so lovely with its adornment of curly locks, our pleasures hindered by our eyelids, which were fashioned by the foolish Creator. I land here just to say a few concluding words. So it's surprisingly similar mood how Maharaj Bharat is speaking and the Gopis, but one is conditioned and one is completely pure. And this is something interesting to reflect on, that the perfection stage we also hopefully will lose our mind. This is not an artificial show. Sometimes we go to Bengal and we see how some Vaishnavas, they roll on the ground and they cry, doing some artificial exhibition of devotional emotions. But this is really, they really feel like that, and that's the highest stage of devotional service. And yeah, I just got inspired to read this since it reminded me. And we can end here. Any comments, questions?
I remembered also one more example, but of course it's not as high as the Gopis example. Akrura, when he saw also Krishna's also footprints, and he was glorifying, and he was in ecstasy.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, it's a nice example. Akrura-ji.
Yeah, I think it was a very nice class to really remember Krishna, because this is our goal and we forget it so often. This crying out for Krishna. It's not about that particularly, but about crying out for Krishna. We were just discussing that actually we should be really burning, like this intense desire to see Krishna again. I thought this is very beautiful, and we should try to meditate on this and try to have this feeling about japa, and while doing everything that we are actually missing Krishna so much. And yeah, what just came to my mind is that the Gopis were comparing their separation to Krishna's, their cows in a burning, what do you call it, stall, and they're bound up, and this is like really intense, and yeah, to really be in that mood is really special. So yeah, but yeah, thank you to
Thank you. We should remember Krishna.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
jai, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Gaura Premanandi, Vansakalpa Sarvaki jai, Vaishnavi Namo. Hare Krishna.
Bharat said about the footprints of this yeah, at first you think, we can laugh, but actually it's us. It's my condition. This is how I glorify Maya instead of glorifying Krishna.
yeah, and also if a beloved person is living in the body, for example,
How?
people are going mad.
Oh, yeah. During this last Srila Prabhupada marathon, there's one very exalted Vaishnava in Hungary. There are many, but one of them is Lila Shuka Prabhu. He is a Grihastha, but in the future he will be Diksha Guru. Yeah, so Grihastha Diksha Guru. And for many years he does a full-time Srila Prabhupada marathon, and he usually goes door to door. It's not on the streets, but distribution door to door. And so many people in the same area, the same district, many years, and he has already a relationship with those, people who live in their houses. And he said sometimes he goes to some new other districts. And this December he told us one story. I ringed the bell, so one lady came out, and she was like 35 years old, but she looked so old, and she didn't take care of her at all, and like she completely gave up on herself. And when he entered her house, also she completely gave up on everything. Like it was dirty, the spider, the nets and everything, and it was like. And when she told him his story, so her husband 10 years ago passed away, and since then she couldn't recover, just couldn't. She just gave up on everything, on herself, on everything, on the house. Yeah, and he said, yeah, it was hard to see this living conditions she lived in that house, but yeah, and she couldn't recover, and she looked much older. She was like 35, but she looked like 50, 60, something like that, because it was so painful for her, that experience. Yeah, he passed away quite early, her husband. Yeah, people suffer so much. So they need Prabhupada's rules. They need to know at least about reincarnation, that the soul is made of Satchitananda. And yeah, but it's easier said than done. Even devotees, when some of their beloveds or like relatives passes away, it's also devotees also, it's not easy.
Yeah, of course it's not